is Reverend Amy Garber, who is the owner and co-founder of the Enlightened Soul Center and Shop in Ann Arbor, Michigan. She is clairvoyant and clairaudient, a medical intuitive, a Reiki master, and a conscious channel for her master guide, Felonius. Reverend Amy has been teaching 3 levels of intuition development classes since 2015, and her offerings have expanded in the past few years to include reading practice, channeling, and divination tools. Reverend Garber's journey began in 1993, where she became an active student of metaphysics, studying with spiritualist ministers such as our own Reverend Ken Nowoczewski. In December 2016, Reverend Amy was ordained by the Reverend Daniel Chesbrough of the Sanctuary of the Beloved into the priesthood of the Order of Melchizedek. I give you Reverend Amy Garber.
Thank you. Sounds like loud clapping for a small audience. I appreciate it. Hi, come on in. All right. I promised myself I was going to monitor myself with a timer. We'll see how well I do. So you might have guessed from the song offerings, thank you, Reverend David Shaw, that my topic today is forgiveness. Typically, I am invited to speak at this wonderful spiritualist establishment around Thanksgiving. So I always feel like, well, the ministers must feel like they're going to be too stuffed, you know, after the dinner, and they don't want to, you know, put an effort to make a sermon. And so they're going to have a guest minister at that time, which is great. But I have spoken on gratitude, which is one of the common things you would think of with Thanksgiving. And Spirit was saying that today I could speak on forgiveness. In fact, I titled this, Forgiveness is Good for Us, meaning it's good for you, it's good for me, not just focusing on the person or people or situations that we may need to forgive. It's good for us, right? So what is forgiveness? Obviously, we could teach a, 12-year course on this. But in working with clients, because I do readings, I've learned that sometimes when people think of forgiveness, they think that they have to, in forgiving a situation or a person, it's like they're saying it's okay what happened. And I don't believe forgiveness has to be looked at that way. In fact, it's often very hard to do it that way and may keep us from doing the forgiveness work. I would say it's not condoning, but a letting go, if you will. And that has a different connotation, and it has many benefits for us. I actually looked up the derivation, the origin of the word, because I thought, oh, forgiveness, I thought maybe for was like forward, like ahead, which is one of the ways you could parse it out. But I like this etymology from the late Old English that says it's giving up the desire or the power to punish, right? So it's not, it doesn't have to be saying, oh, it's okay what happened or what you did or whatever, but I'm going to let go of or give up this desire to punish, to rectify it, to do something about it, right? So this is a spiritual audience, presumably, and perhaps a lot of you feel you've done your work with in your life with forgiveness, but typically we would say someone did something, because it often is more cuts to the bone when it's a personal thing and not like, oh, DTE did this, or, you know, some corporation or some whatever. So if someone, we perceive that they've done something and that has an effect on you, right? And this is where we might be holding something that we could forgive. One of my clients introduced me to a saying that I really like. Everything is happening for me, not to me. Everything is happening for me, not to me. So looking at this metaphysically speaking, if someone did something to you or a situation caused you to feel hurt or anger, I would say, where's the lesson in that for us? Is it showing us something either about us or a situation, giving us a chance to heal something, or say, I'm going to turn away from that, you know, that which I want to, you know, I'm being shown that that's not like what I want to gravitate to or be or deal with. I also know, being a metaphysical seeker, that there's often soul agreements. It was a challenging thing to learn when I first started studying metaphysics. If somebody's in your life and they seem to be antagonistic or what have you, or you can't get through to them, I started getting past life information actually in my readings, and now I lead clients in past life healing regressions if they want to go that far as well, to understand that there are reasons why often somebody is our teacher. They came into our life because at some level before we came into this incarnation, we agreed, oh, I'm going to make it difficult for you in this situation so you can remember and remind yourself that you are worthy of love, that you are whatever it is you need to remember, right? So there's often a very good reason, and these people in our lives may be our teachers to help us remember this, relearn this, make a new choice than we have perhaps in previous lifetimes. Luckily, believing in reincarnation here is part of the understanding that I have in bringing this to the spiritualist community. There are times when a client may not believe in reincarnation or past lives or soul planning before we come to the incarnation. And then Spirit says to tell them, well, I'm getting this past life information for you, but you can appreciate it as a story to help explain what's going on now if they don't believe in reincarnation. But I would say 99% of my clients do understand that. And another understanding of that or aspect of that would be karma. Again, I'm not a Buddhist scholar, but my understanding of karma is it's not, oh, I did something bad in this past life, so therefore in my current life, I need to be punished, or this person needs to do this to me because, you know, retribution or anything like that. I believe that karma is an opportunity, again, to rework something or learn something or do better or be more conscious, right? So someone did something to us, we can look at it from those perspectives, right? Also, of course, judge not lest ye be judged. This thing happened, but what's the story we tell ourselves about it, right? What are we going to make of it or decide from it? That is in our power, right? So why forgive? Is it all about being good? You know, Jesus famously said, you know, turn the other cheek. Spirit, in getting ready to come here, Spirit said to me, it's like clean eating, you know, like I'm focusing on, we have all this junk at my center, you know, candy. I brought a lot of it, okay. Yeah, there's still a pile of candy corn from Halloween, all kinds of stuff. and I know when I eat the sugar, it affects my energy. You know, I can usually feel worse later. I build up my tolerance to the sugar, and then I'm like, oh, what the heck? You know, I could just shovel this stuff in and I'm not having the same effect. You know, it's not good for me. So Spirit was saying to me, it's like clean eating. Forgiveness is like clean eating. We don't do it because it's the right thing to do. We do it because it feels good, you know. So I brought celery to work the past couple of days and trying to eat some other things besides the candy and the cookies that are there, right? And it's the same thing with forgiveness. I thought that was a really pithy statement. So I propose to you that forgiveness is not just about doing the right thing, but it can be a selfish act, if you will. It can help us. It can make us feel good as well. Compassion, of course, does feel better than anger or hate or hurt. Because haven't we ever made a mistake, right? Haven't we ever done something? And a lot of times it's even unconscious, right? A lot of times when I think that somebody has wronged me, or someone else thinks I've wronged them, if we actually get a chance to talk about it, we find out that there's just a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding. We're perceiving or ascribing certain attitudes or, you know, pre-thought, you know, conscious deliberation about something that was completely not intended or forethought. And communication, strangely enough, seems to be one of the hardest things to do as humans, to really understand, to walk in someone else's shoes. Like, well, did they mean this? This is how it felt to me, but they might not even have noticed or intended that, right? So to look at things from that point of view, a famous quote, I looked up who it was, Alexander Pope, to err is human and to forgive is divine, right? So we can ourselves imagine that we want to raise higher and be able to look at a situation and forgive. We could certainly examine our part in it. Like something, you know, I've got probably many examples because I'm still human. I'm still in the body on the earth plane. So I was like, darn it, I don't think I'm an ascended master here. So I'm still making mistakes and learning. Somebody had given us links to photos, a professional photographer that we had. And one of my colleagues isn't good with tech and missed the email, and I was trying to help, and they were saying, well, no, I need this person's permission, even though, you know, they were copied on the email and all this. And I found myself getting ticked off. And then I realized, well, you know, I wasn't very clear originally in having this colleague understand how they were supposed to grab this email and get their photos. And also I feel like that the photographer was being ethical and saying that they wanted the permission of the person whose photos they were and not just giving them to me, even though I arranged the whole thing, but okay. And then it was just more like a matter of me being ticked off because of having to duplicate effort. So, you know, I was realizing all those things and realizing my part in it. I'm in charge of me and I'm in charge of my reactions. And then I could just drop it and let it go and just not have an attachment or a charge to it anymore. It's like, you know, the photographer's busy, I'm busy. Let's just find the best way to get this done, you know? And that's just the most recent example of me thinking, oh, I'm mad, you know, what's going on? And then I had to forgive myself first, which is another aspect of forgiveness, right? Often we are projecting or we are reacting and realizing that what am I doing? What's my part? I'm being human. I can certainly look at my reactions and let that go, let myself be healed, right? So there's a lot involved here. We're participating, we're carrying the energy. So this is the piece I want to emphasize about forgiveness is a selfish act. It makes us feel better, right? You may have heard this quote, I won't let you live in my head rent free. So you may be thinking and thinking about the situation and you can't forgive the person and it comes up, you're holding that energy. They may not be aware, consciously anyway, but it would be affecting us. It would harm us as well as them. First of all, we're all one. So we're all connected, you know, at an energetic level. We're all the same oversoul, if you will. This energy that's anything less than love, we're carrying that and it will have an effect on us, right? So again, not condoning what have happened, because I know I've had some clients come to me and let's say childhood abuse, you know, their parent is already in the afterlife. And in one case, the parent wanted to come through in the reading and they didn't even want to hear from them. In another case, they wanted to hear from them, but they wanted to then, express their feelings in the reading about how angry they were and how hurt they were and all of this during the reading. So I understand there are some really big things, grave things, horrible things that we may not be able to say, oh, I'm just going to forgive. But can you just let go? Can you let it go? Can you not condone it, but say, I'm done carrying this energy. I'm done, carrying this around with me. All right. Finally, there's an exercise. Well, there's a couple exercises if I had time we could do, but I will say the one that I've used with clients, I actually created a handout for it that I learned from my mentor, and I've seen it work so much, is the pink light exercise. And pink is known to be a color of compassion, associated with the high heart chakra. Not the hallmark kind of like, oh, associated with the heart, but the reality of compassion. Pink as a color is scientifically shown to be neutralizing aggression. For instance, there's a university, I think it's Iowa, that they painted their visitors' locker room pink so that their visiting team their aggression would be neutralized. One of my students, a guy who's a sports fan, told me about this, and I looked it up and verified it. And I saw something on TV once, I don't know, it was 2020 or one of those shows where there was a guy who could karate chop a board in half. And then they had him stare at a pink, I don't know, poster board, I can't remember exactly, and then try to chop another board in half, and he couldn't even do it. Like it completely neutralized his strength, his aggression, let's say, right? So the exercise that my mentor had shown that I've adapted into a handout is imagining a situation, a company, or a person, whatever it is, surrounded by pink light. It can be pink fog, it can be pink sparkles, whatever. It looks like a pink spotlight coming down. Every time you do it, it could look different. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what color pink. Students have said, oh, should it be a light pink or a dark pink? It's like, it doesn't matter, it's just pink. Yeah. I do this with certain people in my life sometimes. It's good to do proactively ahead of when you're going to have to see them, talk to them. Spirit says anytime you think of them, even with some active situations, you may want to do it every day. You wake up and like, I'm putting pink around that person, and then just let it go. And what I've learned is that because we're all connected and telepathically and energetically, it cuts off the negative, the cording, the connection, so that we're not constantly, because we're participating. If somebody did something to us and every time we think about them, we feel negatively, we're also sending those thoughts and emotions to them energetically. So they're picking it up at some level, right? At some unconscious level, at a soul level or what have you, higher self. So it stops us from coordinating that or participating in that loop, right? And it just feels good. So that is my invitation to all of us today. You may have some situation or person come to mind when I say, who do you need to forgive? And put ourselves in there as well. And remember that if you are willing to let go of it, not participate in the desire to punish, just let it go. Let spirit handle it. God, we're not God, making decisions about how this person should be dealt with. That's not our job. Our job is us and our feelings. So I hope that was helpful today. Thank you.